Hey everyone, it's Crystal. And so I'm here today to answer a question that I've gotten asked multiple times, either here on YouTube and or my Facebook page. And so I thought I would just finally have a moment and tell you all what we did. Basically, I've had several questions from people online about what we are going to do with our leftover embryos now that I'm pregnant. When my husband and I did IVF, I think initially we had 18 embryos that they collected, and then 15 fertilized. We used 2, and there were 13 left over. So back in May, we got the letter from our IVF clinic that it was time to make a decision on what we wanted to do for the next year. So it was kind of one of those things, like, I had talked to my husband before about it, and basically this pregnancy, I'd always kind of in the back of my head been thinking that if I wasn't pregnant and this year rolled around, that I would want to save them for at least another year in case we decided that we wanted one more child. Because we were kind of done really with the boys. Josh was done. I was like on the fence basically. I really did kind of want one more baby. But I truly thought it was going to come down to us like having to go back to the clinic and use one of these embryos. So in my head, I'd always thought, well, we'll pay another year for them to be frozen. And I hadn't really given anything else much thought. I just thought we're going to save them. Well, then obviously in February, I got pregnant. We found out in March. And I hadn't thought about the embryos at that time at all, really. And then we got the letter in May that said, hey, you guys need to either pay to keep them, or you can have them destroyed, you can donate them to science, or you can donate them to another couple. So when I thought about this in the past before, I'd always I wanted to believe that I could just donate them out to someone without a second thought. And then I started thinking, oh gosh, those are our kids, and they're going to be out there. How would I feel about that? What if I'm on the street and I feel like, our child is out there? It was such an awkward thing to think about, or not awkward really. It was just, there's so much to think about it that I just kind of didn't think about it. So I hadn't thought about it much. And then we got the letter, and I was half and half. I was like, well, we really don't need to save them because we're not going to have any more children after this. And so it really came down to my husband, to be quite honest, Josh. I asked him, I was like, what do you want to do? And we had kind of talked about it before, like fantasizing, talking about it. Oh, we should just donate our eggs, like our embryos. And we didn't really talk in depth about it. But so I asked Josh, I was like, hey, what do you want to do? We can donate them to science, destroy them, or whatever. He's like, let's just give them to someone. And in that moment, I did not second guess him. I don't know if maybe in the past, whenever I had second guessed myself, it was more that I was afraid. I didn't want to have my hopes up that he would want to donate them and then get my feelings hurt if he didn't want to donate them. I don't know if that makes sense. But so anyway, we, in June, wound up going to the fertility clinic. We gave some blood samples and filled out this really long questionnaire packet about our personal genes and illnesses and history and family, not ancestors, but like family screening. I don't know what you call it, but it was a very in-depth, one for each of us, one for him, one for me. And it was, me, my parents, my grandparents, diseases, ages that you died, and, all of that stuff. So we filled all of that paperwork out. We did the blood test. Basically, you can donate your embryos if you want to, like if, anybody can do it, but they don't always accept every embryo, I think. Maybe if you have certain risk factors in your family or just anything like that, they maybe will not accept your embryos. So we did all the paperwork, did the blood tests, and we got confirmation a few weeks later that they accepted our embryos into their program. and we donated all 13 of them. They are, someone could be having one of them, you know, someone could be implanted with one of them right now. We have no idea. We will never know. You know, there's no, it's kind of an anonymous donation. Like once you donate, you know, you don't find out if someone got your eggs or anything like that. You know, we've kind of joked about, you know, what if in the future, you know, like 18 years from now, all these kids coming to find us, hey, you're my biological parents, or something like that. You know, I certainly wouldn't be opposed to if our embryo that was adopted out ever wanted to find us or anything like that. I wouldn't have any issues with that. I don't know how it all works. I really didn't ask on that part because it wasn't something like I have to see them. I think it would be more difficult, to be quite honest, for me personally, to donate my eggs to someone that I knew, because then I think I would feel obsessive about it. Like I would want to know everything about that child. I don't know how I'd really feel. You know, I think I would feel that way, obsessive. But anyways, I just wanted to let you all know that we did donate them. And you know, the donation place that we went through, it wasn't like we didn't seek out a donation place. We donated them to the actual clinic that we used to get pregnant at. And I asked them, I said, you know, you guys aren't like selling my embryos, are you? You know, couples aren't really having to pay for them. And they don't. Like, it is really a donation. Like, obviously, going through that clinic, if someone is going to be paying for the IVF process, you know, they're paying fees for their medication and their procedures and all that. So I'm sure there may be some little costs maybe mixed in there somewhere, but they're not actually like, there's not like a book and it says, okay, here's an embryo, it's going to cost you $1,000 for this one. You know, that's not how it is. Like they are donated to couples who are in need, who have to go the route of embryo donation. So it's kind of crazy to think about. I really haven't thought much about it until like this week. The fact that we had donated them. But I wanted to share that with all of you. I feel good at our decision. I feel great about our decision. You know, like I said, a long time ago, I felt nervous about doing any sort of donation for our eggs, but I keep calling them eggs. They're not eggs, they're embryos. Like they're fully, you know, and the other thing too is our embryos were great quality. They were, excuse me, I just finished eating. I always do that. Like I always think of making a video after I eat, but it's because we always put the boys down for bed after we eat. And then I'm like, oh, it's my time to make a video. So, but yeah, it's a great feeling to know that we might be helping some couple out there who wasn't able to either do IVF, or maybe she had bad eggs. And, you know, I have a really good friend, like one of my closest friends in the entire world, did IVF last year, and she had a really bad egg quality, and I felt so bad for her. I really did, because they did IVF once and wound up having a chemical pregnancy, very early miscarriage, because her egg quality wasn't that great. And then she actually wound up going through my IVF doctor, who was amazing, and they did IVF, and they got I don't think they got many eggs. And I know my friend was pretty like set on the fact that it wasn't going to work, but it did. She worked and she had her daughter back in May, but they don't have any leftover embryos, you know, so if they wanted to have another child, they'd have to go through the process all over again. But it just, you know, knowing that someone out there is going to have a child and that we were able to help them, it just makes me feel good, you know, like becoming a parent is an amazing thing, and to feel like you might not ever embark on that journey is it's a very depressing and very sad thing to have to experience. And I know you can adopt, and I know that as a person who was infertile, I had people tell me that, well, why don't you just adopt? And it was definitely in the back of our heads. But in my gut, I wanted to exhaust all possible ways of having a child. You know, a lot of it was having a child, and a lot of it too, I'm going to be real honest, was experiencing pregnancy. I wanted to experience pregnancy. You know, I wanted to have my own child. I wanted to have my own biological child. Now, had we not been able to, say I didn't have good eggs, I would have wanted to adopt an embryo. I would have wanted to try to be, you know, I wanted to experience pregnancy, and I'm so grateful that I was lucky enough to experience that with IVF. And now, naturally, I'm experiencing it again, which is the most amazing thing in the world. So, like I said, it's my husband and I feel really good about our decision to donate our embryos out to someone. And so, you know, I really hope that they work for someone. I hope someone's pregnant right now with one of our embryos, and that they are experiencing the most miraculous, amazing gift in the world. So anyways, that's what I wanted to chat with you all about, and just let you know that we did donate them. And if you have any questions, certainly leave them below. It wasn't a very difficult process at all. I think really, obviously, for most people, I think the most difficult thing is making that decision in your head that you want to do that. And it was the best decision in our case. So I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.